Okay, so boom! The scene kicks off with Kakashi posted up outside this little restaurant. To nobody's surprise, he's over there reading one of his dirty novels. You know how his dirty self gets. But before he could get to the real freaky parts, Kurenai and Asuma pull up on him. Kakashi then proceeds to make a little quirky joke about them having a great time together. But this girl Kurenai is not trying to claim Asuma just yet. She got more prospects to scope out, so she's not dismantling the roster. Plus, this man inhales 7 packs of cigarettes a day. She is not sold on him being the one. So she quickly deflects Kakashi's remark, saying that she's only walking with him because Anko asked her to pick up some rice dumplings for her. Now, in that sentence, she didn't say anything crazy to the average ear, but with my keen attention to detail, it was with those words that I had an epiphany of a lifetime. It was at this exact moment that Anko's Hall of Fame clay cleaning career must have began. It only makes sense, because how did she go from looking like this to this? You see, this is what happens when you start focusing on food over training. Your skills will not increase with this mindset. The only thing that will increase is the width of your back. And there's nothing wrong with big girls, but at a certain weight and build, you cannot be mad at me that I asked you if you played defensive tackle for the Chiefs. I'm just saying. Asuma then asks Kakashi what he's doing here, and that's when he lets them know that he was waiting for Sasuke to pull up. But right after giving them his itinerary, the camera pans to the table behind him, and that's when we see this oversized 6'5" gremlin in an Akatsuki robe trying to be mysterious with this gigantic hat on. This Hannah Montana ass disguise, bitch, take the wig off, Miley, we know that's you. Kakashi clearly been peeped the nose burning dead fish smell emanating from the table, but before he could confront them, Sasuke pulls up on him, confused as to why he's here before him. He then takes a peek behind Kakashi, and that is when we see 2 steaming cups of tea with the 2 non-suspicious giant hat-wearing men nowhere to be found. With the suspicious disappearance of the 2 men behind him, Kakashi gives Kurenai and Asuma a discreet signal to chase down the 2 ninjas, and that's exactly what they did. Sasuke, now annoyed for some reason, has the audacity to demand that they go eat somewhere else, and that was the precise moment that my Sasuke hate boner was activated. He talking about some,
let's eat somewhere else. I don't have much of a sweet tooth.
Nigga, are you paying? Always the brokey of the group making demands on what and where to eat. Hey, make sure you add some wings to the pizza order, bro. Brother, you pitched a quarter and a slightly torn Arby's coupon. You're not getting any wings. The camera then cuts to Kurenai and Asuma confronting the 2 Akatsuki members. They demand to know where they've come from and what they want. So that's when Itachi says, "It's been a long time, Asuma." And that's when they're met with the gaze of 2 Sharingans eyeing them down. Now, off that reveal alone, I could tell they must not value their lives. To all my dons out there watching, it's okay to turn down a squabble from time to time, especially when it's a nasty mismatch like this. The moment I even see a nigga reach for something in his waistband, I'm out of there. I'm not playing with my life. Just go get Anko her dumplings and call it a day. You cannot hang. But nope, the 2 of them decide to stay. So the aquatic roach decides to introduce himself, talking about some,
I suppose I should introduce myself. Hope we can get acquainted later.
Now, I already thought Asuma was bold for deciding to stay in the first place, but this nicotine addict decides to take it a step further by saying, why should we wait till later?
When I can just wipe the floor with you both now.
I know this nigga did it just... My days. Niggas always gotta act hard in front of the hoes. Some baddies come around and now your friend thinks he can fight Mike Tyson. Brother, you are 140 pounds soaking wet with a wingspan on par with Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. Please go and sit down. Nonetheless, Asuma continues to press them, but Kisame's finally had enough. So he whips out Samehada and now he is ready to box. He kicks off the fight by trying to slice Asuma in half, but Asuma dodges the blow. So Kisame tries to swing on him again, but this time Asuma whips out his chakra blades to block. Kurenai decides to get in on the action and attempts to use her genjutsu, but this woman obviously did not read the scouting report because she's dealing with the genjutsu god himself. She does not stand a chance. Asuma, still underneath Kisame's blade, is now starting to tremble and shake from its weight. So instead of trying to get out from under it, this man lets Kisame rip out a fat chunk of his shoulder with Samehada. Now, before Kisame could get another chunk, Kurenai's genjutsu finally begins to come into play. A bunch of tree branches begin to emerge from the ground and slowly wrap Itachi up. She then pops out the tree behind him with a kunai in her hand hand, cocks that thing back and rushes it to his head. But in the blink of an eye, we see Itachi unrestrained while she's now wrapped up by the same tree. Her dumb ass. Look at her, in shock. She must have thought those eyes were for fashion. You better read about him. I'm not surprised though, I already knew that junk wasn't gonna work. Look how calm he was while getting wrapped up. You were cooked from the jump. Kurenai then bites her lip to try and get out of Itachi's genjutsu. But as soon as she does, Itachi takes out his kunai and charges at her. She managed to dodge it in time, only losing a few inches of her hair in the process. But Itachi was not finished, because before she could even catch her breath, this nigga had a hot and spicy kick to the chest waiting for her. She tried to block it with her hands, but it was to no avail because she still got sent skipping across the water like a pebble. Look at how he held the pose too. You know her sternum is throbbing right now. Asuma screams out in concern for his wifey, but Kisame reminds him that he has much bigger fish to fry. Literally. Get it? Because you know, he actually a fish. I'm here all week, folks. Kisame then starts swinging his giant sword at Asuma again, except Asuma is on his guard now. He out there dodging every blow, hitting the bachata around them joints. His hips did not tell one fish. After dancing around for a bit longer, he finally decides to play some offense and tries to punch Kisame with his chakra blade. At first glance, it appears that Kisame blocked it, but once we take a closer look, we see that he really gave homeboy an extra gill since the chakra around the blade extends its reach. Kisame, now insulted that he's got touched by a nigga with a fake Cartier bracelet on, decides to get serious and boot up this water shark bomb jutsu. But in the nick of time, the copycat ninja of the leaf pulls off a calm little pull-up and blocks Kisame's jutsu with the same exact one. Yes, sirski! Been stepping since day one. He always comes through to save the day. I gotta make a pull-up counter list for all of Naruto because Kakashi has to be in the lead. He even pulled up and saved Kurenai at the same time before Itachi could try and kick another hole into her chest. He is really that guy. Itachi then turns around to take a good look at who has the kunai to his back, and that's when we get the mandatory and iconic Sharingan stare down. Kisame, now in awe that there's someone else who possesses Itachi's eyes, ends up putting 2 and 2 together to determine that the man in front of him is none other than Kakashi Hatake, aka the copycat ninja. But then to one up the glaze, Kakashi lets him know that he knows who he is too. Talking about some.
Imagine my surprise. I go to check out a couple of low-life vagabonds in a tea house, and I find none other than Kisame Hoshigaki, the scourge of the Hidden Mist Village.
How about that? You know my name.
You two done licking the skin off each other's meat sack? You know him, he knows you, we get it. Hurry up and box. But since we're in a chit-chat glazing mood, let me go ahead and slide some self-promo in there real quick and kindly ask you to subscribe to your boy. We are almost at 200k, and you know what they say. Helping somebody get to 200k we'll keep the bad vibes away.
What?
Nobody says that.
They do be saying that, they do. Shit, that's my favorite saying. That's my favorite. Eventually, Kakashi gets fed up with the small talk, so he reaches behind his back to pull out his kunais. But after seeing that man counter his jutsu with a water shark bomb jutsu equal to his, he wasn't gonna take any chances. So as soon as he seen him reach behind him, he raised his sword, daring him to try it. But before things could get too heated, Itachi stops him and tells him that if he takes Kakashi on, the consequences will be too much. See, he know Kakashi's him. He's not your average 1v1. But if I'm Asuma on the other hand, I'm taking offense to this. What you intervening with him for? You didn't intervene when he was trying to take a chunk out my shoulder. You must think I'm baby food. Nah, I'd have to pull out my best, most secret jutsu for this one, cause you not about to just eagle me like that in front of the O's. After a bit more banter, Kakashi finally cuts to the chase and asks him for the second time, what is it that he wants here? So Itachi slowly responds by saying,
We're looking for something, and we know it's here.
oh my god. Alright bro, drop the mysterious act, it's enough now. He out here giving us riddles like he the Riddler. Just tell us who you're looking for. Kakashi asks him to tell him who exactly he is looking for, but that boy Itachi left that man unseen. So Kakashi, like every black mom angrily teaching their kids math, asks him the same question with more bass in his voice and a kunai pointed towards him. But instead of answering the question, Itachi basically says, I think like I'd rather box than tell you. Then he quickly pulled out 3 shurikens. After noticing the shuriken, Kakashi quickly jumps back, but then he notices something fishy arising from the water. So he quickly boots up a water wall, which thankfully blocked Itachi's attack. It turns out the 3 shurikens were only drawn as a distraction to hopefully catch him off guard with his real attack. But thankfully, Kakashi and his Sharingan were able to sniff out the move just in time to block it. Now, I was fully prepared to ride this man Kakashi after this little move, but before I could even formulate my thoughts, this man Itachi says, "You're good. You almost anticipated my moves." And that is when we see this man pop up right behind him and nonchalantly stab him in the back. But do not fret, all the Kakashi fangirls, please collect yourself. He was fine. It was just a water clone. The real Kakashi was actually swimming underneath the water in order to get to Kurenai. He gives her a kunai, but then immediately pops up out the water and tackles her out the way, because in a split second, Itachi's water clone explodes, nearly swallowing up Kurenai and Kakashi. Asuma jumps down to come to their aid, but thankfully, the blow left both of them untouched. Before the 3 could even devise another plan, Itachi phases in behind them in the most ominous way possible. Kakashi then tells his team to stay on their toes with much more meat munching involved. He talking about some stay on your toes.
This guy was made chief of Anbu Black Ops when he was only 13.
Now, as true as this may be, this information was not necessary. Even Asuma's fed up with the glazing. He responds by saying,
Alright, he's tough, we get it.
Tough? You haven't seen half of what he can do.
Kakashi, shut your ass up. Itachi, now feeling more gassed up than ever, decides to flex on him real quick with a powerful genjutsu known as the Tsukuyomi. Kakashi then tells Kurenai and Asuma to close their eyes and that he'll take care of him with his own Sharingan. But as we all know, he did not stand a chance and that man was cooked. As nice as Kakashi is, that fraudulent ass, stolen ass Sharingan will not be enough to defeat this man right here. And Itachi made sure to let him know what a real Uchiha can do, because not even a second after telling Kurenai and Asuma that he's got it under control, Itachi activates his genjutsu, and now this man Kakashi is pinned to a cross in this red and white black Tsukuyomi terrain that basically resembles hell. Itachi then begins to poke this man with his blade, which honestly wouldn't be so bad on its own, but the genjutsu became 10 times more excruciating when this man said,
"The next 72 hours will be nothing but this."
Oh no, what is wrong with this man? And to make matters worse, Kakashi looks over to his right and sees another version of himself getting Swiss cheese like he is right now. Bro, look at his eyes. Listen to the grunts. That man is struggling. But the nail in the coffin was when I realized this man's last defense was to tell himself that this is just a genjutsu. Kakashi, this is the Itachi Uchiha. You just finished waxing his hot dog stick with your mouth. You know damn well that won't work. There is no way out of this one. After taking what seemed like hundreds of more swords to his body, Itachi reveals that only 1 second has passed. That boy is cooked. We then cut back to outside the Tsukuyomi and we see Kakashi looking like he just aged 20 years. That boy looked tired as hell, eyes fighting to stay open. Now for some reason, I originally thought Kakashi found a way to escape the Tsukuyomi, but he soon reveals that he actually did the whole 3-day bid. Kakashi is built different, cause I am telling you right now, if that were me, fuck the leaf, fuck Naruto, fuck the whole Kage. That Akatsuki contract would have been signed within the first 2 minutes and 43 seconds of that jump. And that's even being generous. Would have been holding up my crossed out leaf headband like I just got drafted. Kakashi, still determined to know Itachi's plan, asks him if it's Sasuke that he's after. So, impressed by Kakashi's will, finally gives in and tells him that he is here for Naruto. But after exposing his plan, he decides that he can't let them go. So he tells Kisame to capture Kakashi Kakashi and kill the others. And of course, with his dying thirst for blood and battle, Kisame charges in to complete his task. But by the grace of God, right before the fish stick could sink his teeth into Kakashi, we are blessed with yet another sweet pull-up when Might Guy pops up out of nowhere and hits him with a leaf hurricane. Hey, let's go! Now we got a real fight on our hands. When Might Guy's involved, you know the squabble will be S tier. But just before I could get all my snacks ready for the second half of the fight, this strategic, logical, big brain ass nigga Itachi tells Kisame that they're pulling out because they didn't come to fight a full-blown battle. Boo! Tomato, 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 tomato. How you gonna tease us like that? I thought we were gonna see Itachi versus Might Guy. That would have been peak cinema. But unfortunately for us, that almighty face-off never came to fruition. Instead, the Akatsuki duo took off, thus marking the end of the fight. Overall, a very interesting encounter. Anytime two Sharingans match up against each other, we're bound to be entertained. Kakashi gets an A for the clean pull-ups saving these bums and for enduring Itachi's Tsukuyomi. Itachi gets an S for somebody please pray for that healer. Was the Tsukuyomi really necessary? Like, what did you gain from that? Kurenai and Asuma both get a D for getting completely embarrassed in their 1v1s. And Guy, he gets a B++ for pulling up and scaring the Akatsuki duo away with just his aura alone.
I don't really wanna know. Shorty telling me her name. I don't really wanna know. Had to wake up, go to work. I ain't really wanna go. God be with me on my side. He be with me on the low.